Calling all big brain. Calling all big brain. Are you a big brain individual? Are you looking to find the inner workings of life and its successes so that you can success? Are you ready to consult a piece of text that may possibly be older than your grandpa? Well, then look no further than The Magic of Thinking Big, published by Dr. J. Schwartz. This book is legit possibly older than your grandpa. This was published in 1959 and it was republished by Fireside in 2007. It falls under the self-help category because, of course, it does. And this book is very interesting and has a lot to uncover. Welcome back to Novelty. I'm your host, BC Fresh, and today we uncover one of the probably strange one of the most strange ones that we'll ever uncover on this channel. But let's get right into it. Okay, to start things off. What this book does is it gives the reader a sort of a blueprint, like I said in the introduction, about how you can be successful and improve in life. And that's thinking big. What that is setting really, really high goals. And it even literally says in the book to set it so high that people may find it laughable or ridiculous. Okay then. This also shows you how to implement those goals into your lifestyle and your work so that you can achieve that goal. This also shows you various ways that you can improve your personality and achieve success, and also, more importantly than success, happiness in all parts of life, such as work, family, and social life. And the various ways that it shows include setting goals for what you want to be in the future, like that hashtag goals thing. It tells you how to handle defeat, how to handle failure. It shows you how to be creative in your thinking. All that kind of stuff. You could be the best version of yourself. Now, some things that this book has, or some of the quirks and features of it, it sheds the branding that most self-help books are given, because unless you've been under a rock, self-help books have sort of had this sort of branding of being really cringeworthy dumping grounds of cliches and overused sayings instead of really providing real advice. And that's what this book does not do. It does provide real advice, and that I can say by looking into it and reading it like a couple of times, because I proceeded into this book with the same caution that you probably would. I made sure that this book wasn't just, I guess, buy bait, read bait, open bait, whatever the term is. I made sure that it wasn't that and it was actually legit advice that you could actually use in life, and that it definitely is. Now, one thing about it is hilariously outdated, alright? The fact that it was published in 1959, which is 60 years ago by now, is not something to ignore, okay? I remember in one section of the book, it's talking about the goals that one person set, and I think it was, so what he was currently making, or what his co-workers were making at that time was, I believe, $10,000. And so he was dreaming about making $15,000, let's say. And we all know that, or at least I hope you would know, that $10,000 is definitely not a lot of money, and $15,000 is not a lot of money either, and definitely not a goal that anyone would be setting to make, I hope. So there's that aspect to it. A lot of the goals that are set in this book, because obviously one of the main goals of human society is to make a lot of money. That's natural. And so you would see that they'd set money goals in it, but money was worth a lot more in 1959 than it is in 2020. And so you're going to see very, very small number values that will seem hilarious when you actually read it. But then again, it's because it was published in 1959. No one in their right mind in 2020 would want to make $15,000 as like their primary goal in life. Obviously, you want to make more than that. Some other things about it is that it does need some revision and updating to adjust to the digital age. For example, in social life, the social advice that they give you, most of it will not apply for the era where we're living in with Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Snapchat, so on. That just does not apply in modern society. You can't just copy-paste 1959 policies and practices into 2020 and expect for yourself to be the next social media star or something. Now, There are still some cliches used because, of course, what's a self-help book without one annoying cliche? But it's not nearly as annoying as like the other ones that have been in this genre, and they're actually not that like they don't get in my nerves as much, and it's actually like appreciable when you don't scatter in every single page of every single chapter of your book. And that was a good thing to see, even though yes, it is 1959, that thing didn't exist yet. But a quick PSA, in case you didn't pick this up already. There's no need to apply all of the principles that this book applies. Neither should you apply all of the principles that this book states, because for one thing, this was published in 1959. And another thing, not all of them are realistic to apply to our daily lives. And even I, personally, only use one of them, and that is the look into the future and see what you want to be and then work towards it. Because that, for me, I find that very, very useful because of the fact that as someone who still, hopefully, has a lot of years into my career left, I would obviously want to set goals on where I want to be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, even the next year. I would obviously set goals, and that, for me, hit, and that's the only one that really hit for me, and so that's the only one I use. It's the same thing for you, whether it's 1, 2, or 10, the ones that you use, or the ones that you find useful, are the only ones that you should actually be applying. Don't apply everything in this book. It's not good for you, and it's not recommended either, at least on my behalf. Now, just to wrap it all up, this is great for anyone looking for some motivation or just looking to kickstart their career. This, like I said before, is hilariously outdated. I really recommend just picking it up and reading it yourself, just so that you can see how badly outdated it is. That's probably the one drawback of it. And of course, with that social stuff also does fall into play here. The social and work aspects of this thing do really need to be refreshed, because working standards and how people work have really changed over the past 60 years, and how people socialize has changed in the past 60 years, mainly that people don't socialize as much. And for all of that, I give it somewhere between a 7 and a 7.5. I mean, I don't think this is good enough to be a 7.5, but at the same time, it's not bad enough to be a 7. Like, this isn't a mediocre book. It's good in what it's like. The positive points are very, very good, but the negatives also just stick out. They're a thorn in your side, really, is what it is, more than anything else. The outdatedness and the needing of a refresh. Now, if this book was revised for the digital age, like most other of books in this category have been, to adapt to the modern age, this is a hit. This is a great score. This is perfect 10 out of 10 because of the usefulness of the elements of this. But because it's not, it gets a 7 to 7.5, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.